Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you are doing well. So, the last time we were talking about grief, and today, this next episode, I had promised to share about my experiences of grief and the first time, like, I lost something really dear to me. So, when I was in primary school, I think I was taken to school by my grandfather. Yes, my grandfather is the one who took me to a really good school. So the people who know me will know the school, and used to drop me, pick me, and if he was not available, he had a driver to do that for me. And in the school, like maybe after a year or two, I had my cousins join me. So and then there was this one time, now where grief comes in, and let me pause there. Sometimes we assume that children don't go through grief or don't have the understanding of losing something or being shifted from place to place. But children also do, right? Because now when this was happening, I must have been between 7 to 9 years old, because it was in lower primary. Yes, we used to have lower primary. So it was between class 1, 2, or 3. I'm not very sure when that happened. So my grandfather used to take me to school and then ensure that I'm brought back. So I never used to use any public, like I didn't know. Surprise. And I thank God for it. So on this specific day, everything was okay. I was prepared in them. I think it's the house help who used to prepare me in the morning. And then I go to school. I'm taken to school by my grandfather, and then in the evening he'll pick me up. Sometimes we'll pass through a certain bakery. He's the one who took me to the first ever factory. What do I call it? A bakery ever in my life. And we'll get cakes, bread, scones, buns. Like there were a couple of things because he used to have a hotel, a restaurant, a cafe. Yes, it's more of a cafe. So on this specific day, I'm picked from school by the driver. My grandfather was not there, and it wasn't unusual for him not to pick me. So the driver picks me with my cousins. By this time, my cousins were in the same school as me. And we go home. He doesn't say anything. And in those days, like, there was never like really a discussion between you and the guy of what has been happening. It was more of me and my cousins playing. Do I call them cousins? Yeah, they were. I'm not very sure about that relationship, but we are related. We are and were related. So on our way back home, we'll get home. The driver puts the key in the house. I go to Guka's house because our house was in the same compound with my grandparents. I'll call him Guka. I go to Guka's house, and Shosho will have prepared something for 4 o'clock, and sometimes it will be cake or porridge, fermented porridge, which I used to love, the traditional porridge. And then she'll put it in a kenya. Kenya is I don't know what you call it in English. It's a traditional bowl for taking porridge. So that's where I'll have my porridge in. On this specific day, I don't remember what we had, but there was a lot of things in my grandparents' sitting room. And those days, TV used to be VOK. Was it VOK or KBC? But I know the station used to be switched on at 4. So by 4, I'm in the house, and sometimes like I used to be there waiting. And they are fast. After news, then the second show used to be Kids Bible Story. The Bible Story. I used to love, and I used to really enjoy watching that show, right? So on this specific day after school, I don't know if I had done my homework or not, but I remember my Guka being very much involved in my schoolwork, in my homework. So I'm not sure if I had done it or not. I must have already done it. So when I got home, like I never even used to look at our house. Like the first stop is Guka, are you in? Shosho, hi, what is there to eat? Blah blah. Then now on this day, I think I had whatever it is that was there, but I couldn't sit because there was a family meeting. They had a meeting, and it was very serious because the TV was off and I was not allowed to get in. And I think I was told not to go to our house, but children. So when I put my bag down and I went to the house was empty, like with nothing Absolutely nothing. I wonder what went through my mind or how I felt, right? And there, when I was sitting down, my mom comes. No, my grandfather's siblings were five. So, and they had one sister. So there was that one sister and the four brothers. And none of these ones are alive. Like all of them have passed on. All of them. Which is also another thing, right? Yeah, and life can be extremely short. So now this, and I used to love this. Like all of the kukas used to have a specific name because they all used to come with something or will buy for us something. So on this specific day, when I go to the house, there's nothing. So I just sit there outside, not sure what to think or what to process, right? Because I never knew of someone who had moved out. I didn't have a thought of moving out, but I had heard that mom was building, so maybe I thought we were moving into the new house, right? So anyway, at that stage, my I'm told to sit out. Mom goes in, and they talk whatever it is that they talk about, and then we leave, right? And you see, at this time, between 7 and 9, like I can already tell things are not okay. Even the atmosphere at the time that we got into the house, I got into the house, things were not okay because even this my cousins were told, today you're not going to stay, just go home because home was not too far. And they leave and they go. But then, mom, whatever discussion was there, mom had to leave, or we had to leave, and it wasn't a good leave because I don't even think I said bye. But then when we left, life wasn't the same again for us. I left, we left a certain comfort to a different, it wasn't too bad. Okay, it wasn't bad because we left grandparents and then we went to live with mom and dad. At this time now, mom was there. But the reason for sharing this story is that sometimes we assume that grief is only felt by grown-ups. And we forget that children also have their way of processing things. Because now after this, the driver knew that he had to continue picking me. I don't know how. I don't know if it's my grandparents who didn't tell him or what. But then on the following day, because I don't even remember which day of the week it was, on the following day, the driver came. But I remembered that I'm not supposed to get into the car because we are not living there. And you see, this driver has come specifically to pick Wanjiko. And I didn't get into the car. And it brought a certain kind of confusion to me. Right? And you see, because there was no conversation, I was not explained to what has happened. There was no, like, just jump into the next ship, continue moving and exploring life, and life will move on. Which was, I think it was difficult because now I tried in my child understanding, I tried now to balance being with my grandparents and being at home. Wait, okay, that has made me a bit emotional. And as parents, it can be hard. It can be extremely hard when you're going through a certain kind of loss. Processing it and helping your children to process it at the same time. It can be extremely hard, and sometimes you don't have the words. But what I would advise as a psychologist is that even when we don't have words that we assume are right, it is important for us to have an open door, open heart for the children to first ask questions, for you to explain to the children, in the best way that you might know how, all right? Because now in my case, in my situation, the thing that was happening was that my parents were having an issue with their parents, but then forgetting that they have children who also have a relationship with the grandparents, parents of the parents, and also our parents, right? Now I'm talking about I'm giving the story in terms of now me because I had two other older siblings ahead of me, And I wish we can have this conversation with them, so that, okay, one of them is one who's still there because we lost one, which is also another story of grief that I will share with you, right? Because now, by the time now we are moving, apparently the two older ones knew this is what was going to happen. But maybe I was too young, or maybe I'd have been a snitch. I'd have said, Mommy's looking for a house, my parents are planning to move, or blah, 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 blah. I don't know. But what happened for me as a child is that it brought a lot of confusion, because also now when I was transiting to class 4, I really dropped in my performance, like really, really dropped. Because see, here I had a grandfather who was picking me and dropping me in school. Then now we have to readjust to, how do I get to school when dad is not in, or how do I get home? I'm not sure if I can ask my grandfather to pick me or not. Is it even a conversation that we can have? All right. So anyway, for today is that when children, not when, children also go through grief, but their grief can be messy for them, because first, they don't have the right questions to ask, and they may not understand really what is happening to their emotions. And I said, the thing that you can provide as a caregiver or as a parent is being open to them. And even when you tell them that you don't know how to respond to a certain question, it is okay, because at the end of the day, we are human, right? Maybe something I wish that my parents did for me at that time is tell me we are moving because of, even if they will not give me full details of why it is that they are moving or why they need to move in such haste, but let me know the relationship that is not working is between them and the parents, but not me and my parents or my grandparents. Because at some point I felt like I had to choose. And the choice that I had to pick had to be right and had to favor my parents, because they are the parents at the end of the day. They're the ones who are taking care of you. But really, I'm not the cause of the drift. I'm not the cause of their misunderstanding. It's just a thing with life. I hope this is going to help you. And if you have more questions or any questions, kindly ask them in the comment section, in the messages, and share, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think about this. Ciao, and thank you.